Okay, so I never say that I want to go back and do the exact same vacation twice, but I just got home and I already want to go again on this vacation. So I'm not lying when I'm telling you there really is nothing quite like getting to experience an up-close encounter with the friendly gray whales of Baja, California. I mean, any other whale watching trip will just pale in comparison to this one. And so I'm going to share my experience with you guys and then tell you how you can experience the exact same thing on your own. Baja is one of the longest peninsulas in the world, stretching a span of 800 miles, which in just 2 weeks there, you can see a greater variety of whales and dolphins than anywhere else in the planet. But you have to go during whale watching season, which is between the months of December to April. So we actually went during the tail end of March, but we still had an incredible time. So I can't wait to go back next year during peak season. But essentially, every year and every winter, these gray whales migrate from the freezing waters of the Arctic to the warm waters of Baja, Mexico. Now, we stayed at Camp Ignacio, and we spent a total of 3 days there. And so you got in these small skippers twice a day. So we went whale watching a total of 6 times, but once you get out there to the whale watching area, the timer starts and you only have 90 minutes to observe the whales. And believe me when I say the time passes fast. But what's crazy about these whales is that they actually seek out human interaction. So mother whales with their calves, they actually come and present their calves to you so you can reach out and touch them and pet them. Which is really incredible and phenomenal, and even more phenomenal to think that they are twice the size of our tiny boats, so could easily smash it to smithereens, yet they are incredibly gentle and curious and friendly, and it's often hard to tell exactly who's watching who.
Oh my gosh, always coming. Oh my gosh, what? Oh, whoa.
Okay, so we're like 1 minute in and we already saw a flow. So we're gonna go make friends with him.
God.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. What makes things even crazier to believe is that these friendly whales were actually hunted almost to the brink of extinction in the 1800s. And they were actually called devilfish because they were so aggressive, but they were only really aggressive because they were killing the calves and the mothers were just fighting for their babies. But fortunately, due to strenuous conservation efforts on both a federal and a local level, the whale population is back to normal and thriving. So obviously, being someone who is really passionate about wildlife and conservation, someone who travels a lot for wildlife and conservation, I only want to look for and support wildlife experiences or encounters that are really putting conservation first, right? And not trying to exploit an animal or a species. So that was my sort of primary concern going into this, and I've canceled tentative trips because of this reason elsewhere in other countries, and I can feel so good that I can tell you guys that, I mean, they did an incredible job. Like, the well-being of the whales is put first and foremost. The number of boats that are allowed into the lagoon at one time is heavily regulated, so there's a very small number of boats. It's a very small number of boats that are allowed into this huge, massive area at one given time. And on top of that, you're only allowed to have 2 boats observing the same whale at any given time so that the whales never feel surrounded, and if a 3rd boat comes along, somebody's got to leave, and they're really good about that. I actually saw that happen once with one of the whales that we were observing. A 3rd boat came along, so they're really good about it. And so that made me so happy, just because, I mean, when you're out there, it's insane. It really feels like you're in this tiny boat in this huge ocean with these huge whales that are honestly popping up all over, and they're so much bigger than you, and they come right next to your boat. I mean, it is surreal. It's so cool. I don't even have the words to describe it. And I was also pretty skeptical about, okay, like, are these whales really friendly? There's gotta be some sort of reason that they do this. It's so uncharacteristic of them. There are no other whales in the world that are like this. They're completely wild, yet they're so curious and friendly, and they come right up to your boat and they want to be pet. So I was really skeptical going in, but yeah, being there and seeing it firsthand, they're really like gigantic puppy dogs. Like, they come over and they want to be splashed and scratched and interact with you, and like I said earlier, it's kind of a game of who's watching who, and if you have any doubt in your mind, if you don't interact with them, they'll be gone within a minute and they'll find another boat that will. So it's really quite an impressive phenomenon.
Coming up again. There it is. Slow.
Oh, he just came up right next to us. Oh my gosh. Whoa! Oh, that scared me!
I'm looking at my pictures and
The whale literally just went right next to us and scared the crap out of us. It just came out of nowhere, but we didn't get it because no one was looking right there. Oh my god, that was insane. Wow, they're everywhere.
I don't know if you noticed, but the fluke was almost out, and the back were like more curved. That means that they dive down. They're gonna be down for a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it was a sharp turn. It's gonna come up about 1 o'clock.
Whoa! 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 He's right here. He's right here. Right here.
That tail has been damaged badly.
Damaged? How so?
That's all the white on it.
Yeah, that's the white, and it was very pink. It was
Yeah.
covered, and it was a different shape.
Yeah.
So it was not a smooth tail. Going around again.
Hey, that's your boat.
right here.
Yeah, just come right here. Gosh, this is so cool. They're seriously right there. There's mama and her baby. Oh, look, you see them? Hello, mama. Wow! Oh my god! Wow, there's the mommy.
Look at that.
Wow! Wow! I got sprayed! Oh my god! Sorry. Wow! Oh, cool! Oh! Under the boat?
Mom is under the boat. Right
There's baby right here.
Baby!
That's the baby coming up again.
Oh, hi, baby! Gosh, she's whoa, she's huge! Oh my god! Hi, mama! Hi!
Not the baby.
Wow! There's the baby! Oh my god, she's so close to us! Wow! There's Felix! Oh my god! Wow, mama! Oh, very good! Oh, you got to touch a whale! That's so cool! man. Oh, hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Oh, hi. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Seriously. He's trying to impress us. We have the front row seats. Hi, buddy. Hi. Hi. Cool. Wow.
The whales that you see in this video are the descendants of the few whales that remained after the whaling industry, and to see their population thrive and flourish and to see the moms coming back every year with babies is just, it's so incredible. And to have that up close interaction with a huge animal is just, it's so exhilarating and cathartic and moving. These whales, they trust us when we don't even deserve to be trusted, honestly. So yeah, it's just, it's an experience that I can't recommend highly enough. And if you have any interest in now going, please feel free to check out the link in the description below, links to a blog with the tour group that we used and all the information about how to have the exact same experience. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Please like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe to our channel. And you can also follow us on Instagram at Living with Pickles. I'm still new to YouTube, so I don't really know what I'm doing, but I love you guys a lot. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.